I'm meteorologist John Dawson. This is the YouTube Fox 26 Tropical Update. I'm glad you found us here once again. I hope you've been keeping up with everything that's been going on because, well, while it's not overly threatening, let's call it, there's certainly been some stuff to talk about in the Gulf of Mexico, which of course impacts many of our viewers here in the Houston area since we again broadcast out of Fox 26 studios. But of course, I know this is reaching much more of a diverse and international audience than just those folks here in the Houston area. Glad you found us again. Let's dive into what's been happening in the tropics. And the National Hurricane Center has been focused on tropical wave or Invest 98L. And this area of Invest has been right along the Gulf Coast. And like I said, the last couple of days it's been tracking it. And as of 1 p.m. on Sunday, still issuing sort of an advisory or an update on tropical wave or Invest 98L. Although now at this point, that center of low pressure is completely over land. And once that happens, it is very, very, very rare that it would develop into a tropical system once that center of circulation gets over land. So naturally, the Hurricane Center is not as worried about this developing into a tropical system, but it is still going to be a rainmaker. And it is going to be one of those situations where Houston is now beginning to sort of see less rain chances as we move into the work week, but definitely South Texas seeing some of that. And kind of on the positive side of things, much of the state is going to be able to receive some much needed rain that'll help maybe ease some of these drought conditions that we've seen, but certainly not put an end to it. And unfortunately, though, there will be a few folks that get too much rain out of this Gulf low that kind of wandered inland again over southeast Texas, or over south portions of South Texas. Now, when you look at our satellite imagery, which is, again, remember, we have radar that shows that rain falling. It's close to the surface, and then the satellite imagery is up in space looking down, and it's showing you basically the cloud tops. And typically, that's what we show when we look at a tropical system because, well, it's in the middle of the ocean or the middle of the Atlantic. We don't have radars that are located on the ground to give us, or the surface to give us a good look at it. We have to look from in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So my point being, from a satellite view, which is your traditional tropical view, it's really not all that impressive. You can't really see that circulation or that rotation. But if we switch to a radar view, you can start to see things a lot clearer as far as that spin that we're talking about with that low pressure that's happening. And so when you really get down to the surface, this begins to show why there are still some concerns with Invest 98L. Not that it's expected to be a tropical system, but it is certainly going to continue to bring some rain. And particularly, let's look down a little bit away from that swirl, and let's look down here towards Brownsville. This is where we could possibly see some problems, even extending into Monday or even possibly Tuesday. I think that's going to stretch it a little bit. But look how that training effect is happening. Those heavy bands of rain are just repeatedly hitting over the same area. If you want to use the word Brownsville kind of as our marking point, right over the O and the W in Brownsville is continuing to get rain after cell after storm. And so there's going to potentially be some problems down in far South Texas. And then this kind of training could really move and begin to impact other portions of South Texas as well. So while we're not expecting Invest 98L to become a tropical system at this point, it could still create some problems. More localized, but certainly a flash flood situation. And Corpus Christi is still going to be getting some rain. And notice this is the beneficial rain up here. These lighter shades of green, or the darker shades of green even. And we don't mind a little bit of that yellow and red being thrown in. We just don't want to see it hitting the same place over and over, which is what's happening currently down in South Texas. So we're going to continue to watch this system for potential concerns on what it could do. And as I talked about, you can see again, just repeatedly hitting the same areas. That could be happening somewhere else in the state as this system continues to move and track to the west. But overall, across the entire Atlantic basin, that's really the only area of activity. Not really expecting it to become tropical, as we mentioned. So we'll say no tropical cyclones are expected within the next 5 days. And again, that even does include this area here. The official statement from the National Hurricane Center on this low pressure that is now in South Texas, completely over land, is a near 0% chance that it would develop into a tropical system over the next 2 or 5 days even. So don't want to make it absolute by saying a 0% chance, but a near 0% chance that it would develop over the next 5 days with this system, but certainly could still create some problems. So this is a good reason why the Fox 26 weather app would be definitely handy to have if you happen to be down in South Texas, or if you might be heading down to South Texas. You can see that radar right there with you. It's not just for the Houston area. You can use the follow me function, and you could take that with you anywhere you go in the U.S. And you can forecast ahead if you need to look at a forecast that's going where you might be heading. If you've got a last sort of summer trip here planned, you can see what's happening wherever you're headed, a 10-day forecast. And while you got your smartphone, go ahead and punch in at John Dawson, Fox 26. I would enjoy connecting with you. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I use them all different. We'd love it if you could connect and we could kind of correspond back and forth a little bit with what type of weather you're dealing with. We will be back here again tomorrow with another update of what's happening with the tropics. I'll expect to see you then.